All right, on this wall, basically I have put together all the stuff that I don't really need to get to that often, because it either has remotes or, you know, it's like converters. You basically never have to get to those. Once they're set up, they're fine. With the exception of the mic pre's. The mic pre's are in here because the mic panel is 8 feet away on the other side. So I'm keeping the leads from the mics really short before they hit the mic pre's, and then from there on they're stronger level, and you know, it's not as sensitive for interference anymore. But that's why the mic pre's are here. Patch bay, everything in the whole studio is coming together on the patch bay. The digital side is handled by the Euphonics 727 and the SSL Alpha Link, which have AES outputs. Altogether we have 72 analog ins and outs, and I think 80 or 96 AES in and outs. Mm-hmm. So plenty of it. The mic pre's, a word to the mic pre's is that specifically with mic pre's, it's like certain boxes for certain sounds. You know, I like the Chandler is my #1 on guitars, on electric guitars. There's other mic pre's that, you know, do other functions and get used pretty much on similar instruments at all times. The John Hardys for percussion, and the Massenburg on everything that's I don't want to hear a mic pre on, you know. So
for very neutral sound.
Very neutral, and it's just air, you know. It's just wonderful. So this is this whole setup in here. I installed a couple of little speakers, the NHG MOOs. So when I do get the sounds in here, I just switch the source to these speakers, and I can hear it, and I don't have to do like this number. So those are the alternating speakers. Also, I can put Nuendo up on the screen to see my levels up there. So when I'm standing here, I can adjust it like that.
I see.
So there's a little bit of thought behind all that.
That's very clever. And this is the TTL connections?
It's DB25s on the back, and it's the little TTs in the front, yeah. That was one massive deal to put all those cables in, you know. These racks, by the way, pull out. They get tracks, and then you can pull them out, and then you can get behind them and deal with it.
But hopefully you don't have to do that very often.
Well, yeah, I already have like a couple of occasions, you know, when this new one comes in. Yeah. And one of the boxes, I hooked up a wrong digital cable, so eventually I have to go back there and exchange it. But I try to pile up the occasions so I don't have to do that very often. So over here we have actually a combination of analog console, digital controller, and a digital controller in this console. I love working on the faders with the SSL. The editing happens on the Euphonics box. If I do editing, I don't normally do editing for drums and stuff like that. To me, it's still the musician making the music and not a typist. So, but you know, sometimes you do edits and you edit out noise and stuff like that. That all happens here. The Euphonics is a wonderful controller for Nuendo, working on the Yukon principle protocol, and basically every function on the DAW doubles itself on knobs. To me, that's very important because we got to get away. At least I feel we got to get away from the left brain stuff in music. You know, there's way too much musicians being engineers at the same time. So if I can move stuff from the left side of my brain to the right, the creative side of my brain, that's a lot better. So if I have a knob to do something, and not have to look on the screen where the function is, to me that makes it a lot easier. And hence basically 2 controllers and the analog console. Mm-hmm. But the combination of the two is actually working out wonderfully.
And do you try to work exclusively in Nuendo, at least at this studio?
Yes. Yeah. Again, you know, you pick one DAW and you kind of stick with it, because once you learn it, you know, and most of the time the whole production happens here, so the recording happens here, so it doesn't really matter what I use. People go, well, you should have Pro Tools because it's compatible. Well, people send me consolidated files and I mix them, and you know, I wouldn't want their plugins on there anyway. You know, because why would you send it to me if you like what you're doing? Yeah. So, but I do have Pro Tools, of course, you know, to open other people's files. But my DAW of choice is Nuendo.